Hello, salutations, what it do? It's Dr. Gamer back at you with another video. And today I want to talk about this new upcoming Marvel game that I've been seeing a lot of posts about. Looks pretty interesting. I'm not sure about it. Obviously, it's still very early, but from what I've seen so far, it looks like it could be absolutely fantastic. There's a decent amount of hype surrounding it, and I just wanted to cover it to just get my thoughts out there and see what you guys think. But before I get into it, make sure you smash that like button. It helps tremendously with the channel, and make sure you subscribe and check the bell icon so you never miss a video. We are very close to 2,000 subs. I'm hoping to hit that in the next month, and I would appreciate it if you guys help me out, help this channel grow. But without further ado, let's jump right into this video. So I started seeing posts about this heavily in the last month. I think the release is coming up soon. The game is, of course, called Marvel Future Revolution. From what I gather about the plot, it looks like heroes from an alternate Earth have decided to rise up and take over, and they're going to clash with heroes from our Earth, I suppose, that are, you know, the good guys. So they're going to have that kind of Civil War type dynamic, except multiverse version. And then you have the usual villains thrown in there. And the interesting about it is that they are doing a very good job marketing this as a Marvel game. And the way I mean that is pretty much giving fans a lot of fan service, especially if you're an MCU fan. You know, you have the early footage I saw was Doctor Strange and Storm. I saw a lot of MCU outfits. They got iconic villains already. They've been spotlighting a bunch of them. You got Loki, you got Thanos, you got Red Skull, Nebula, Kingpin, MODOK, Ultron, you know, just a huge who's who of Marvel iconic characters. You know, hero-wise, you got Spider-Man, Iron Man as well, Captain America, the usual ones, on top of, you know, Star-Lord. It looks super fun. Now, the one drawback is that, and the reason why I'm reserving my hype is that it is a mobile game. Now, typically, I don't play a lot of mobile games, especially Marvel mobile games. They have a reputation of being kind of low quality cash grabs designed to just get fanboys to spend a bunch of money on overpriced cosmetics. But from what I'm seeing from the gameplay, it does look at least very high quality. You know, I usually avoid action mobile games. I usually like console third-person action type of stuff where I'm like close and into the action. But this one, the default camera angle in the gameplay looks pretty close. The graphics are really good. And when you attack, they do a lot of close-ups, so you can really get a full view of the character and all their flashy moves. And it looks very cool. I have to admit that the fact that they have so many iconic characters and Marvel locations already, and they're prominently showing all of them off front and center, means that they really know their audience and they want to really sell you on not just a typical superhero experience, but if you're the type of person that watched every MC movie in order, this game is something you're going to get a kick out of. They are not shying away from the MCU looks. I've already seen different versions of in-game Captain America. Pretty much all of the characters are basically designed after their MCU counterparts. And then you have really cool outfits for the alternate Earth heroes that are inspired from the comics as well. There's a lot of really cool stuff here. The question is the game actually good? Will it actually be a good game? You know, is it going to be pay to win? For instance, are you be able to jump into it right away and feel powerful? Is the level system, you know, skill-based, or is it basically just whoever can open up their wallet wins? You know, is that sort of thing where you're paying for upgrades? You know, is it strictly cosmetic? And will this become a console port? That's another thing. Are they planning on porting this over to console? Because if it comes to console, I'll definitely consider streaming it at least. Now, the fact that the game has this much interest, especially from me who's not even into mobile games like that, is a testament to how good their marketing has been so far and where Marvel's Avengers went wrong in terms of how they portrayed the game. Now, obviously, it's not feasible for Marvel's Avengers to suddenly start showing off Doctor Strange and Storm, you know, all this other stuff. It's pretty clear if you look at their choices over the last 8 months that they had some kind of arrangement with Disney Marvel to use the game as a showcase for the upcoming Disney Plus content. If you look at, for instance, the main character for the campaign is Kamala Khan. She's a relatively unknown hero, but she has a following in the comic world. But she has a show coming up on Disney Plus, so that's one of the ones that they really want to have a boost in terms of marketing because she's not someone like, Blade or Deadpool or someone that doesn't really need that much help in the marketing department. The first DLC character, Kate Bishop, another Marvel deep cut that only real comic book fans would even recognize. She's getting a show on Disney Plus, the Hawkeye show. If you look at the leaks, you see that they've been developing She-Hulk, another relatively deep cut Marvel character that's getting a show on Disney Plus, as well as Winter Soldier, who already had a show, and Captain Marvel, of course, who already had the movie. Spider-Man is getting a movie already in the MCU. Black Panther already in the MCU. Upcoming movie. You get the idea. They are choosing their characters based on the upcoming slate of MCU movies and shows, which is fine, but use what you do have. And that's where villain choices could have made a bigger role. Opting with Taskmaster and Abomination probably wasn't the right call, but I think the marketing could get substantially better once we get closer to the big guns they have coming up, which is why I think it's very important that Marvel's Avengers releases Black Panther and Spider-Man together, because that dual marketing would really drive a lot of eyeballs to the game and kind of build up the hype, similar to what you're seeing with Marvel Future Revolution. They don't have their own sort of deal, story-driven deal, quite like Marvel's Avengers are trying to do with their unique story. There's like, no, we understand that you love the MCU, so we're just going to throw everything at you. Enjoy, have fun, don't think about anything too much. And that's fine for that. Marvel's Avengers has their own direction they're trying to go in, which I like, but they could definitely take a cue from them in terms of how to really market your game to Marvel fans, especially those in the MCU. Like if they planned on doing MCU skins, they definitely should have done them much earlier, in my opinion, and they should try to be as forthcoming as possible in hyping them up, because fans, like it or not, they love that kind of stuff. I know a lot of people are more focused on content, but you gotta recognize the importance of getting people interested in your game, and Marvel Future Revolution is doing that very well. Even though we know very little about the game itself, it could very well be a terrible game. Marvel's Avengers, for all its flaws, is a very fun game. The combat is awesome, it looks really good, and it's really engaging to play, especially when there's something to do. As a testament to that, even the people who make hating on this game their job basically play the game every day. That's just how powerful it is. Imagine how great the game would be after they add Wakanda and they add all these quality of life updates, and especially once they fix the gear, because Outriders has shown us that gear in your looter is so important. Because if you have a good gear system that can get people into like an addictive loop, they will overlook a lot of stuff. And Outriders is a perfect example of that, because it is a terrible game, but it hooked people for a while at least. I finally had it deleted off my system yesterday, but I still played it a lot despite how bad it was throughout the month of its launch because of that loot system. So if Marvel's Avengers can really get that together, I think the future is super bright. But they definitely need to continuously improve their marketing of the game, as well as their communication. The communication part, especially, whoever is doing their copy needs to make sure they're clear and concise. Like that's why you had a bunch of conspiracy theories running around about the champion system and how it's basically just a scam to sell consumables, even though from all available information we have, the XP booster is going to be free for everyone and the XP changes aren't really noticeable. But because of the language in the initial blog, it left a lot of confusion. So they really have to try to avoid things like that in the future, because obviously bad faith actors will take anything they say and twist it into a negative, because attention, and some even get a financial incentive out of it. So Marvel's Avengers, just take a look at what Future Revolution is doing and try to adopt some things in terms of how you promote your game, and just keep making great content and really listen to the players, the ones that, aren't bad faith actors. But if you like this video, make sure you smash that like button and subscribe, help channel grow. And if you're in the market for some cool gear, I have merch available. The link will be the top one in the description. I'm Sadat the Gamer, signing off.